So acid rain includes all the ways that lead to acid formation in the atmosphere and make that acid condense and fall on the earth, right? So that means according to it, we know that the rainwater which is falling on the earth doesn't have the neutral, or you can say it is not neutral in nature, its pH is not 7, right? So if we talk about the pH of the the rainwater, so you should know that it falls between 5 to 3.5. It is not 7. That means it is not neutral in nature. Either it is, you can say it is acidic in nature, right? So that means this acid rain is actually, you can say, the water in which the acid is present, right? So now the question must be arising in your mind that what acid is present in the acid rain? So you should know that the pollutants which result in the acid formation are mainly SO2 and NO2, that is the sulfur dioxide and the nitrogen dioxide. Now the question must be arising in your mind that like what are the actually sources which are just giving rise to SO2 in air or which are giving rise to NO2 in air. So first of all, look for the sources of SO2, that is the sulfur dioxide. So from where the sulfur dioxide comes into the atmosphere, you know that? Yes, it is one of the, you can say, the common cause is the burning of the fossil fuels. The fossil fuels contain sulfur, so when fossil fuels are burned, so they produce sulfur dioxide. So the burning of the fossils result in the, you can say, the production of the SO2 which comes in the air, right? And the second more criteria, see there are many causes which are just you can say letting SO2 comes into atmosphere. So I'll list few of them for you. So one is the burning of the fossils and the other is, that is striking in my mind, is from the sulfuric acid plants, and one more from the bacterial decomposition as well, right? Now, how by the bacterial decomposition sulfur dioxide comes? You know that when the bacteria just decompose the organic matter, it leads to the production of H2S gas, that is the hydrogen sulfide gas, right? And when this hydrogen sulfide gas is released, it further gets oxidized in air and leads to formation of SO2. So that means again, there you can say by the bacterial decomposition also the SO2 enters the air, right? The other one which is striking my mind is the smelting plants. Now, you must be familiar with the word smelting. If not, I am just explaining you. Smelting is actually a process, you know that the metal occur in nature not in a, you can say the as such form in which you can use. They actually occur in impure form, that is they occur in an ore form, right? So if we wish to extract metal from the ore, there are, you can say we have to carry out the process metallurgy, and the metallurgy actually consists of the 4 steps, out of which is the, you can say the second step is the, it is a process in which we convert the metal, the ore into metal oxide, right? So as we come across the sulfide ore in nature, and so like I'll explain you with an example. Zinc occur in nature as zinc blende, that is ZnS, the ore of the zinc, right? So when we just concentrate this ore, that is the first step of the metallurgy, that we concentrate the ore, that is we remove the dust, impurities, sand, plants, whatever it is present. So then we are left with the actual material from which the metal can be extracted, right? So suppose I have just concentrated this ore, that is the zinc blende ore, the ore of the zinc, that is ZnS. Then the second step is that to oxidize this ore. So that means I'll oxidize it by combining with the oxygen in presence of air. So what do we get? We'll get the SO2. This is called as roasting. That is, the other name is smelting. So that means the smelting, there are smelting plants in which we just, you can say, convert ore into metal oxide, and which ore you will consider? The sulfide ores, right? Roasting is actually meant for only sulfide ores. So when the sulfide ores are oxidized, it leads to the production of SO2. So these are the, you can say, the various causes by which SO2 enters the earth. There are many few also, but few I have listed for you, so just cling to the few ones at least, right? So that is burning of the fossils, sulfuric acid plants, the bacterial decomposition, and the fourth is the smelting plants, right? Now, from where does this NO2 come to release in air? It is mainly a component from the exhaust of the vehicles. That means the exhaust, which is as you all know that you can say with urbanization there are a lot of vehicles which are running on the road. That means they are using certain kind of petrol, diesel, like the component in them. So when you can say when they just move on the this thing, or you can say when the petrol or this thing, the diesel gets burned, they leads to the production of this NO2. That means this NO2 is present in the exhaust of the vehicles. It is the main cause by which the NO2 enters the earth. As you all know that there are so many vehicles, so that means NO2 concentration is high in the air. So that means the main cause of the acid rain is the SO2 and NO2, and you know that how this SO2 comes into air, and you know that how this NO2 comes into air, right? So let us see now how this acid rain is formed. As we all know that SO2 is present in air as well as NO2 is present, and there are the various sources by which they are coming, but we should also know that how they are combining with water and what kind of acid they are forming, right? So how the acid is formed, so just look at the board, like how SO2 just give rise to the acid rain. So what happens, sulfur gets oxidized to form SO2. This SO2 when combines with the water vapor which is present in the air, or which combines with the rain which comes, it forms H2SO3, that is sulfurous acid, right? But it is not only sulfurous acid which is a component of acid rain, sulfuric acid is also a component of acid rain. Look at the board how sulfuric acid is formed. So this can happen that S plus O2 forms SO2, and this SO2 combines with water to form H2SO3. But one more reaction can occur. This SO2 formed can combine with more oxygen to form SO3, and this SO3 when combines with water give rise to sulfuric acid. So these are the acid, that is the sulfurous and the sulfuric, which are the component of the acid rain. And you should know that these sulfurous or sulfuric acid are dilute in nature. That means the water content is high in them. They are not concentrated ones, right? They are just dilute acids, but still the acid is present in the water, whether it is small or you can say it is dilute or concentrated, but still it makes the water acidic as it is indicated by the pH, right? That means the pH just decreased from 7. Right. So, and again how NO2 just give rise to acid rain, look at the board. What happens in the exhaust of vehicles, N is present, nitrogen, it just burned with oxygen to form NO. This NO combines with more oxygen to form NO2, and this NO2 when combines with the rainwater, it forms a mixture of these acid, nitrous and nitric acid. So that means again the acid rain is formed. So acid rain is mainly formed, or you can say mainly comprised of the sulfuric acid, sulfurous and the sulfuric, nitrous and the nitric acid, that they are the main cause of the acid rain actually. Now the question comes that what, as you all know that how acid rain is formed, what are the main pollutants and how these pollutants come into the air, right? You all know all that. But what actual the adverse effect they are causing, right? So they are affecting the soil, they are affecting the water, they are affecting the plant, and even they are affecting the monuments, right? So just let us know that how they are affecting it, right? So the first, I'm just listing it here. So what effect they have? They are affecting the soil, as I told you. Now, how they are affecting the soil? You know, they are just causing nutrient leaching. They are causing nutrient leaching. Now, what is that? You know that in soil the nutrients are present which are required for the plants to grow. You know that, right? And what happens when this acid rain falls on the soil, the H ions of the acid rain, because you know that they contain acid, and acid are those which liberate hydrogen ions, right? So that means when this acid rain falls on the soil, these hydrogen ions get just displace the nutrients. That means the ions present in the nutrients, and which just cause the depletion of the nutrients from the soil. That is the nutrient leaching. Right, again I am repeating, nutrient leaching is actually the loss of nutrients from the soil, right? Now how this nutrient leaching is occurring? It is occurring as the rain falls, the hydrogen ions of this acid rain just displace the ions of nutrient, that is the ions which are minerals, you can say, which are present in the soil, which act as a nutrient to the plant. They just displace it, and this is how the nutrient is lost. So that means first is that they cause nutrient leaching. The other aspect, it is not only the one, it is not the adverse effect is not not only limited to one. It affects the soil in the other way, that it just change the pH of the soil. It makes the soil more acidic, and you know that there are different pH of the soil which are required, like the different plants require different pH of the soil for their best growth, right? So they just affect the pH of the soil by making it more acidic, right? So that means they are just decreasing the, you can say, they're just decreasing the fertility of the soil. And moreover, there is one more aspect, you know, that nitrogen fixation is an important process. You know that Rhizobium bacteria is one of the bacteria which is present in leguminous plants, roots of the leguminous plants, which has the ability to convert atmospheric nitrogen into nitrogen compounds, you know that. And this is how nitrogen is maximum content which is added to the soil, that is by the nitrogen fixation. And the bacteria which plays an important role is the Rhizobium. It just affects you can say the activity of the Rhizobium. That means it retards the nitrogen fixation. So that is also an adverse effect of the soil, because it is just letting soil to lose its nitrogen, and you know that nitrogen is a main nutrient which is required for the plant to the growth. It comes into the one of the primary nutrients, which you know that NPK is the primary nutrient. So it is one of the component of the primary nutrient, and that is lost. So that means it affects the soil in three ways. It causes nutrient leaching, it affects the pH of the soil, making soil acidic, and the third how it affects is just retard the growth of the Rhizobium. That means nitrogen fixation, activity of nitrogen fixation just gets retarded. So this is how it affects the soil. And like I told you, it is not only affecting the soil, it is affecting the water as well. Now the question must be striking your mind that how it is affecting the water. So do you have any idea? Can you correlate this acid rain with the water bodies? So I'll just explain you. Write in your copies, and or just explore new ideas, or just get into the reasons behind, right? So what happens when this acid rain comes, sometimes they just make toxic metals to flow into the water. So what will happen? The water bodies will contain those toxic metals, right? And which are just harmful for the aquatic life. And this just cause the, you can say, the aquatic life starts getting or you can say aquatic life the growth of the aquatic life is retarded, or you can say the fishes getting they just go towards the death or something like that. So that means they affect the aquatic life too, and moreover it affects the plant as well. Now, how it affects the plant? As I've told you, nutrient is lost, nutrient leaching occurred, the pH of the soil affects. So that means it is indirectly, in an indirect manner, it is affecting the growth of the plant as well. So what happens? It decolorises the leaf, it retards the growth of the the plant, premature falling of leaves and fruits. That means there are many other, you can say, the indirect effect which are just affecting the plant as well. And as I told you, the main reason is it affects the monuments. As you all have been familiar with that the marble of Taj Mahal is getting you can say deteriorated, right? So what is the cause for that? The main cause for it is acid rain, because the acid rain just caused the marble cancer. As you know, Taj Mahal is made up of marble, and not only the Taj Mahal, there are many other monuments which we have in which the specific type of marble is used. So what happens when acid rain just strikes the, or you can say acid rain just falls on the marble, it causes the marble cancer, which is indicated by a chemical equation. You know that marble is limestone, that is CaCO3. So what happens when the acid rain falls on it? It just corrodes the monuments. So it is just, or you can say it is just causing the marble cancer. So that means acid rain is just affecting the water, soil, it is affecting the plants, and as you know, the plants are affected, so indirectly even we are affected, because we are heterotrophs. We depend upon plants directly or indirectly for our food requirements. So that means it is just, or you can say it is just exploiting the ecosystem. So acid rain is one of the major cause of the atmospheric pollution. Now, what we can do to just reduce the effect of the acid rain? What we can do is, we can just reduce the effect, or you can say reduce those activities which leads to the by the methods by which SO2 and NO2 enters the atmosphere. We can just reduce them. That means, as I have told you, that burning of fossils just release this SO2. So that means we can, by instead of fossil fuels, we can just switch on to the fuels which do not release such kind of harmful gases like the CNG and all, right? So that means we can use, we can switch on to those kind of, you can say, the energy sources. And the second, what we can do, what I feel like is we can use some technical devices which just do not let these kind of gases escape into the atmosphere, right? Like the one device is coming in my mind, that is the catalytic converter. You know that there in certain vehicles, what happens, catalytic converters are present, right? What these converters are doing, these converters are just converting this NO2 back into N2NO2. So that means not letting it the formation of NO2. And if the NO2 is not formed, you know that the acid rain won't be formed. So that means we can take initiative in many aspects to just reduce the acid rain. It is not only the catalytic converter, there are the many, you can say, the things which we can contribute in reducing the main component of the atmospheric pollution, that is the acid rain.